I had just posted a video to the Algo YouTube channel on the hook and run trade setups using the AIQ1 indicator. Let's go into the indicator section. So on the AIQ1 indicator, I went through settings and setups and the AIQ bands indicator. So I covered all that in the prior video. I did mention you can do something similar using the super bands indicator and the AIQ1 indicator. So let's cover that next. If you have any questions for access, how do you get the tools, what does it cost, all, any of that stuff, you can contact me at info@gridalgo.com or just go look at the gridalgo.com website for more details. Okay, this will be the hook and run trade setups now. I do have a 37 AIQ bars chart, just like I used in the prior video, just so it's kind of consistent from a time frame standpoint. This is on the NQ, that one was the MNQ. Basically, they're about the same. Okay, let's go into, I'll expand this chart out a bit here, and we'll cover this in depth. Okay, so let's go into the basic settings that I have for the super bands at this time. I'll double click on the indicator, left click. I'm sitting at a 233 by a 3 deviation. My fast bands are at 19.2.7, pretty common setting I use for bigger picture look of things, even if I'm down on lower time frames. If I go up on a higher time frame, let's say I'm up around 45s, 47s, 49, 51, 53, 55 going up, then sometimes I'll drop down to a 133, maintain about the same amount of deviation, and then I'll slightly adjust. But I almost always start my starting point before I do a little optimization work is I'll usually always start at a 19 for the fast band setting. I like that. 17s to about 21 is the sweet spot. Bands width, it depends what I'm using it for. For crosses, I want to be, 2.6, 2.7 up to in the, 3. I don't want to be too low. I don't want to narrow the bands too much. Then I'm going to miss crossing points. Like right here, here's a very close to a crossing point. So I want as many crosses as possible when I'm trading more in a visual mode. If you're trading something automated or outputs, we have outputs on all of our indicators to talk to any third-party tools like Markers Plus, what do they call it, Captain Optimus, Bloodhound Blackbird, or Algo Studio Pro. Then with that mechanism or those third-party tools, you can go do optimization and dial in your settings with optimization, forward testing, optimization, combination thereof. Okay, that's my starting point settings. Now what I'm going to do, for this setup, doing hook and run trades, I'm going to make my fast bands a bit more responsive. I would say somewhere in the 15 to 17 range, not a bad area. Let's go pretty responsive. Let's go 15. And then I'm going to narrow up the distance between the bands just a little bit. I'll start with the 2.5. I'll take a quick look at it. And I'll right away know, okay, there, that's good. That's perfect. Okay, I know what I want to see. You could go into and brighten up the bands. All of our indicators, you can adjust color, thickness of lines, and all that good stuff. If we go into the AIQ, for short for Algo IQ superbands, you can see fast upper, fast lower. So if you needed to see those more pronounced, you could make them like, a 2. That's for the upper. Let's go for the fast lower. We'll make that solid line 2. And we'll hit OK. Just so you can see the red and green a little bit more bold. Same kind of concept. The nice thing here with the super bands, I have the ongoing dynamic range of price with the main bands. So I can see right away when I'm in high probability areas of overbought short-term, high probability areas of oversold short-term for mean reversion event possibilities. So in this case, I'm outside of the main bands. I get a hook. I wait, and I get a momentum signal. So the hook part of it, so I'll just put a H for hook. I definitely say go watch my prior video, and then we'll go and the and symbol as best I can and run. So the hook is in the fast bands. The run is getting a mom signal, which is a momentum burst or picking up some linear movement of price that's suddenly developing. And I always advocate wherever you get in on entry, stop never more than most recent price pivot. Trade rips, cycles a bit, rips, get to 1-to-1, move stop to break even plus, and the trade lifts. We do get a succession of equal or higher pivot lows start developing. So maybe you want to be a buyer, you get the hook, run. Get a pullback, you get another hook, run. In a market that's sequentially stair-stepping higher with higher pivot lows. So working the long side, in other words. I always advocate being a buyer mid-band of the main bands or below. That's the value area to be a buyer. Best place to be a seller in the market is mid-band or above. Sells, hook and run, sell, hook and run, sell, hook and run, sell, and so on. So let's go back a bit. Let's go back a few days and we'll cover some more setups, something that's a little different than recent. So here was an excursion well outside the bands. We get the hook. The hook is the heads up. The fast bands have made a hook. And let me not cover up. And let's expand this a bit just so you can see everything more clear. And we'll elongate that a bit. Okay, so we have the indicator has completed a hook. We're getting some downward line segments plot, so you can see the shape of a hook. Then for the run side, we're waiting for a momentum signal or the reversal signal. The AIQ indicator is dual mode. You can set it up for reversal signals or you can set it up for momentum bursts. I like looking for some sort of momentum out of that hook initial part of the setup. Okay, get into the trade, stop never more than most recent price pivot, get to 1-to-1, any stop you have, break even plus, runs. Where should you get out? You get a hook and run signal counter, probably not a bad place to call it quits. So it's, the in-trade management is you can look for the fast bands in general, starting to change directions, knowing probably not much meat on the bones left for the trade and you should get out. Or you get a hook and run signal, just meaning that the fast bands have made a hook. Now that hook there isn't really that prominent, so I could see somebody actually staying in, but I mean the market was linear, then it oscillated, and now it's going sideways. So you're doing intraday scalping. You're not trying to catch a 4-day move. So I don't see what the need is to still be in the trade here unless you've marched your stop way down, maybe to a recent pivot or a mid band. But I mean, you had 1-to-1, you had 2-to-1, you had 3-to-1, got almost close to 4-to-1, or maybe you did hit 4-to-1. That's a pretty darn good intraday trade. I mean, you can use hook and runs too. You see the main bands basically pointing straight up. Anytime you're seeing very developed trends, obviously hook and runs are beautiful on the edges of the market's most recent, range of price activity. As I mentioned in the prior video, I always look for M's and W's with the fast bands too this way. M pattern, hook and run. Boom, high probability setup. M pattern, hook and run. Nice setup. W pattern, hook and run. Another W pattern right here. Now the hook wasn't as clean, but it did change directions and you did get movement. And if the entry would have been above midband, I would have nixed it. But all these other entries are well above the midband for a short, real kind of close there, but I'm always looking. So I would manually dial in your fast bands so you can see M's and W's, and you can literally just work. It's a really good manual discretionary style of trading, hook and runs. The other thing I have traders a lot of times, well, when price is outside the bands, what do I wait for to get in? Well, you can wait for the cross, the vertical line, or if you want more confirmation, wait until you get the hook of the indicator and then some sort of momentum signal. And we did get the momentum signal like a bar or two after the vertical line stripe. So, waiting for a hook and run signal would be my answer to you there if you need a little bit more confirmation. Now, anytime you see the markets in obvious uptrend, we get the fast bands, hooks, we get a signal. Bands have been all up all morning. Like here's, let's see, where is 8:30ish US Central Time here, so Chicago Globex time. We're all up. You get a pullback, a hook, and then you get the mom signal. Now that's not the cleanest hook signal, but it is hooking and changing directions upward, leading into the point that the mom signal fires off. So, you can use these type of trades for trend continuation. Now, typically, I don't use hook and runs for a trend continuation. Hey, are we pull back and I'm getting a mom signal and the bands have been straight up all morning? Yes. Pull back, mom signal long. Yeah, I don't need to see the hook. I like the hook and runs more when there's been a levels test and the market's reversing, or a level sweep, or I'm getting some sort of excursion of price outside the bands, then I'd be more likely to, or that's very common when I look for setups. I get excursion outside the bands. Okay, wait for a hook and run. Seeing W's, hook and run, and so on. And I love using indicators for price patterns. Here we get a hook and then a mom signal. So look at this. Lower pivot high, lower pivot high, lower pivot high. But see how the indicator right here, the fast bands, makes an M and rolls over, and then I don't get a mom signal right away, then I just sit on my hands. I want to see that mom signal, right as the M pattern is finishing up, or let's say it's a W pattern. Like here was a bit of a W pattern. And on that last hook, after the hook completed, then I get a mom signal. Then I like that. Here's a trend continuation setup. Pullback hook, lift, pullback hook. I can get in right about the midband, and I have a W pattern in a market that's been lifting. Now this is pre-market, not necessarily the hours, but I'm just saying as from a pattern standpoint, that's a good setup there. So there you have it. In the end, use indicators to help you have a visually efficient setup that's clean, easy to spot and identify, and then easy to right away you see it and you can go execute and take action off the signal. So these are all tools, part of the Algo IQ program from the gridalgo.com website. We have the tools for Tick Blaze, Quant Tower, NinjaTrader 8, and so on. If you do have any additional questions, you can contact me at info@gridalgo.com. And the hook and run trades now covered in 2 videos with the AIQ bands indicator and the AIQ super bands indicator. So there you have it. If you have further questions, let us know. Great talking to you.